Missing persons, unexplained disappearances, hikers who vanish without a trace. Some say it's just nature, others say it's something else. People are vanishing from national parks across the country. Experienced hikers, gone in broad daylight with no signs of struggle, no cries for help, just silence. This is not a story. This is a real unsolved case. They test you, push you, or simply swallow you whole. The mountains don't care about your plans or your confidence. They have their own ways of reminding you who's in charge. Alex Thorne, a man who walked into the Cascade Mountains and never walked out. He was an experienced hiker, someone who respected the wild, but even the most prepared can be caught off guard. It starts with the crunch of boots on a lonely trail and ends in a silence so deep it echoes with questions that may never be answered. The forest keeps its secrets, and sometimes it keeps the people who wander too far. We think we can conquer any peak, but the wilderness has its own rules. Out here, nature is both breathtaking and unforgiving, a place where beauty and danger walk hand in hand. When someone vanishes without a trace, you have to wonder, did they just get lost or did they find something they weren't meant to see? The line between reality and legend blurs in these woods, and every shadow seems to hold a story. Alex's disappearance isn't just a hiker gone missing, it's a chilling mystery filled with strange details and eerie possibilities. His gear was found, but the man himself was gone, as if the forest had simply erased him. Survival isn't just about food and water, it's about respecting the untamable power of nature. The weather can turn in an instant, rivers can rise, and trails can vanish beneath your feet. Alone in the wild, you realize how small you really are. The vastness of the landscape can make even the bravest feel insignificant. A single heartbeat in a world that's been here forever. Alex Thorne learned that lesson in the most permanent way imaginable. His story is a warning, a reminder that the wild is not a place to be underestimated. The story begins on a crisp autumn morning, full of promise. The air was cool, the leaves were turning, and the mountains seemed to beckon with the promise of adventure. Alex was prepared and experienced, but the wilderness doesn't care about your checklist. Out here, preparation is only the beginning. Luck, instinct, and respect for the unknown matter just as much. On that day, the frequency shifted. The wind picked up, the sky darkened, and something in the air changed, a subtle warning that most would miss. The silence that fell over the mountains was heavy, watchful. Something had gone terribly wrong. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for what would come next. This isn't just another campfire tale, it's a real-life unsolved mystery that has left everyone baffled. Friends, family, and rescuers all searching for answers that remain just out of reach. As we follow Alex's last known steps, we'll explore the treacherous terrain, the massive search, and the strange clues left behind. Every footprint, every broken branch, every echo in the woods tells part of the story. What really happened out there in the deep woods? The answer may be lost to the silence of the summit, but the questions still haunt those who search for the truth. To understand what happened, you need to understand Alex Thorne. He was no novice. At 34, he was a seasoned outdoorsman and a former search and rescue volunteer. He knew the risks, read the land, and respected the wild. For Alex, the mountains were a cathedral, not a playground. He worked as a software engineer in Seattle, but the wild fed his soul. This trip was meant to clear his head before a big project at work. A solo journey, not a record attempt. Friends described him as cautious, always over-prepared. He left detailed itineraries, packed extra gear, and studied maps for weeks. He knew the dangers and protocols. That's what makes his disappearance so disturbing. How does a man who planned for every contingency simply vanish? He chose the familiar Granite Peak Trail, confident but never arrogant. His motivation was pure, to connect with nature and himself. But somewhere along that well-trodden path, experience and preparation became irrelevant. Something unexpected took over, something no amount of planning could ever account for. The Granite Peak Wilderness is not for the faint of heart. It's a place where the land itself seems to rise up in defiance, daring you to test your limits. Towering cliffs, dense forests, and weather that can turn in an instant. This is a place that demands your full attention. The sky can go from clear blue to menacing gray in minutes, and storms sweep through with little warning. The trail starts easy, lulling you into a sense of comfort, but it quickly becomes a rugged alpine challenge. Each step forward is a negotiation with the mountain itself. Treacherous scree fields, narrow ridges, and barely marked paths make it easy to lose your way. The landscape is a maze of rock and shadow where even experienced hikers can become disoriented. Water sources are scarce, often requiring dangerous detours. A single miscalculation can leave you parched and exposed, miles from help. Wildlife here is truly wild. Black bears, cougars, mountain goats. These animals are not just passing through, they rule these slopes, and their presence is a constant reminder of nature's raw power. You're not at the top of the food chain, you're a visitor in an ancient kingdom. The mountains have stood for millennia, indifferent to human ambition or fear. Every sound reminds you, you are not alone. The wind, the distant call of an animal, the crunch of gravel underfoot, all are reminders of your vulnerability. For Alex, this was both the appeal and the danger, the thrill of the unknown, the challenge of survival, and the beauty of untouched wilderness drew him back again and again. The combination of terrain, weather, and isolation creates a perfect storm for trouble. Here, a simple mistake can spiral into disaster with terrifying speed. A twisted ankle or a wrong turn can become life-threatening. Rescue is hours, sometimes days, away, and the mountain offers no second chances. This is the world Alex walked into, one he knew well, but which always held new dangers. Each journey was a test of skill, endurance, and respect for the wild. But on this trip, the mountain had other plans. The familiar trails became unfamiliar, and the wilderness closed in around him. The jagged spine of the earth would not let him go. It was as if the mountain itself had decided to keep its secrets. His disappearance remains one of the region's most chilling mysteries, a haunting reminder of the power and unpredictability of the wild. The timeline of Alex's disappearance is precise and baffling. Every detail, every timestamp only deepens the mystery. It's as if the wilderness itself swallowed him whole, leaving behind only questions. He set out at 6 a.m. on October 12th, eager for adventure. His car was found locked and undisturbed at the trailhead, parked exactly where he left it, as if waiting for his return. His plan was simple: hike to Crystal Lake, camp overnight, summit Granite Peak, and return Sunday. He'd done trips like this before. He was careful, experienced, and always prepared. At 3:15 p.m., he sent a routine "I'm okay" message from his satellite device at the Crystal Lake campsite. It was a habit, a way to reassure friends and family that all was well. Everything was on schedule. The weather was clear, the sky a perfect blue. There were no signs of trouble, no storms, no warnings, nothing out of the ordinary. After that message, there was only silence. No more check-ins, no more updates. The forest grew quiet, and Alex seemed to vanish without a trace. Alex was due to check in again from the summit, but that message never came. The mountaintop remained empty, untouched, as if he'd never arrived. His roommate Mark grew worried when Sunday passed with no word. He checked his phone again and again, hoping for a message that never appeared. By Monday, when Alex didn't show up for work, Mark reported him missing. The authorities were notified and the search began. The final message is a ghost, proof he was safe one moment, then gone. It's a digital footprint, a timestamp frozen in time, haunting everyone who knew him. What happened in those hours? He was at his campsite, not on a dangerous ridge. The area was peaceful, the lake calm, the woods undisturbed. Did he go for a walk and fall? Did he encounter someone or something at the lake? Or did he simply vanish, leaving behind only the silence of the wild? The message marks the edge of a cliff, a drop-off into the unknown. It's the last signpost before the trail disappears into mystery. The SR had officially begun. Search and rescue teams mobilized, combing the woods for any sign of Alex, but the forest kept its secrets, and the mountain was silent. The only answer was the wind through the trees, and the echo of one last message, fading into the dusk. The search and rescue operation launched within hours. A command post was set up at the trailhead, and dozens of skilled volunteers converged on the mountain. Helicopters with thermal cameras scanned the wilderness. Ground teams, including mountaineers and medics, were airlifted to Crystal Lake. They expected to find Alex's camp, but found nothing. No tent, no backpack, no trace, not even a footprint. The area was scoured, every bush and rock checked. It was as if Alex had vanished into thin air. The search expanded in circles from the lake, but the mountain offered up nothing. Day after day, teams returned empty-handed. The official search lasted 10 grueling days. Weather turned, making conditions even more treacherous. Despite hundreds of personnel and thousands of man-hours, not a single clue was found. No gear, no clothing, no sign of struggle. The official search was suspended. The mountain was winning, and Alex was still missing. When the official search ended, Alex's family and friends refused to give up. They hired private teams, organized weekend searches, and plastered the area with missing person flyers. As weeks turned to months, the search became an obsession. Every possible trail, mineshaft, and rumor was investigated, but every path led to a dead end. The wilderness held its secrets tight. Winter buried any clues under snow, forcing a pause until spring. For Alex's family, it was an agonizing wait. When the snow melted, searches resumed, but again, nothing. It was as if the mountain had been wiped clean. The absence of evidence was starting to feel unnatural. How could a man in all his gear simply vanish from a place so thoroughly searched? The mystery only deepened. With no evidence, theories grew stranger. Why was none of Alex's gear ever found? Not a strap, not a buckle. Some speculated he encountered someone at the lake, perhaps a criminal who erased all trace. Others whispered about the supernatural, strange lights, mysterious creatures, local legends. When logic fails, the mind wanders. Could Alex have chosen to disappear? His loved ones say no, he was happy, successful, and grounded. Could a man with his skills stage a perfect vanishing act? The whispers in the pines offer no answers, only more questions. The silence of the mountain grows deeper, and the mystery lingers. Alex's case soon drew comparisons to the missing 411 phenomenon, mysterious disappearances in North American wilderness. Victims vanish from familiar areas, often in good weather, leaving no trace. Search dogs lose the scent, and massive searches yield nothing. Alex fit the profile experienced, familiar with the area, gone without a trace. Granite rock formations and lakes are common in these cases. Alex disappeared at Granite Peak next to Crystal Lake. Is it coincidence or something more? The missing 411 connection deepens the mystery, suggesting Alex's case isn't isolated. It's part of a pattern we don't understand. The questions multiply, but answers remain elusive. Alex's story becomes one haunting data point among many. Years have passed since Alex's last message. The case file is open but inactive, a permanent scar on the landscape. His name is now part of the mountain's lore, a ghost story for new hikers. For his family there's no closure, just endless what-ifs. Online, the story lives on, dissected by armchair detectives and true crime fans. The digital afterlife keeps his memory alive but turns tragedy into spectacle. Ultimately, the trail ends where it began, with no evidence. It's a story with a beginning and a middle, but no end. The absence of Alex Thorne is a presence on Granite Peak, a silence louder than any answer. The cold trail offers no clues. In the end, we're left at the edge of the unknown. Alex Thorne's story is a humbling reminder of our place in the wild. The wilderness is vast, powerful, and indifferent. The mountain that Alex loved is the only witness to his fate, and it remains silent. Every explanation crumbles under scrutiny. We're left with a void where a man used to be. Some mysteries may never be solved. Alex walked into the wild and became part of its oldest story, here one moment, gone the next. The mountain keeps its secrets, locked away in the granite and the pines. Somewhere out there the answer waits, perhaps forever.